fellow bookworms to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and we just finished reading First to Die by James Patterson. Really did enjoy this one. I'm so glad I did. He definitely redeemed himself after Witch and Wizard. But I'm going to get into my thoughts on this one in just a second. Before I do, though, just want to remind everybody that we are going to be starting Lisa Jackson's The Morning After today. I read the synopsis of this one, not in this past Monday, but the Monday before's, the Book of the Month video. So if you kind of want to get an idea of what it's about, you can check out that video. But this is kind of the last one in the spooky season lineup. So excited to get into that. And then this past Monday of this week, I went ahead and read the synopsis for next Wednesday's weekly read, and that is Pure Joy by Danielle Still, and really excited to read this one. It's about dogs. I really enjoyed The Ring by Danielle Still, so excited to read another one by her. But yeah, if you want to get an idea of what this is about, check out this past Monday's video. Pretty excited for that. And then, of course, we do our Book of the Month discussions every Monday, so if you want to participate in those, definitely get a copy. This month we are reading Obsidian Butterfly by Laurell K. There are links down in the description where you can pick up all these books, as well as the breakdown of the chapter sets for the Book of the Month. And then we also do a series Saturday. We're currently working our way through the Dresden Files series. We're on the 4th book. We're just finishing that up this week. And then we'll be jumping into the 5th book. And we also do a Throwback Thursday where we cover some of my childhood favorites. And eventually that's going to kind of turn into a kids corner. So if you're looking for books for a younger crowd, definitely check out those videos. And then bonus videos pop up here and there. I actually have a couple that will be coming out soon. So if you're not already, please subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything, and then give this video a like while you're at it. It really does help out the channel. So now let's go ahead and talk about First to Die. So in First to Die, it basically follows Lindsay. Based on the synopsis, you kind of think it's going to follow 4 different women, but the main character is definitely Lindsay. And she is a homicide detective, and there is these murders where the murderer is targeting like newlyweds, like they're just married. And so she's trying to figure out that case, and she kind of forms like a murder club with her girlfriends. We have Claire, who's a medical examiner, and her and Lindsay have been friends for like 10 years or something, like they're very close. And then Sydney is trying to get into crime reporting, and she kind of has an opportunity on this case. And so her and Lindsay end up, meeting, and end up kind of forming a friendship there. And so she pulls Sydney in, and then later on we have Jill who gets pulled in, and her and Lindsay know each other just from working together, but they're not friends until this point. And Jill is the district attorney. So you have, a homicide detective, a medical examiner, a district attorney, and then a crime reporter. And yeah, so they kind of end up forming this group and to discuss the case and discuss, the different aspects that they can kind of bring to the table and the different viewpoints. And then all the while they're trying to solve this case, Lindsay is going through some very personal hardships and such, and then kind of things that deal with her past, as well as new things that she's really struggling, to balance that with, this case and working and everything, and her emotions, which makes it really hard. And I know the main premise of the book was the murders and solving these murders, who did it. And there is kind of a twist at the end. But really, my favorite part was, following the struggles of Lindsay. Like, I think that was super relatable. I think, all of us can kind of relate to trying to balance, personal things with work and everything like that. So I really enjoyed like her personal story versus like the main premise of the story, which were these cases. I mean, that part was enjoyable too, like don't get me wrong. But like that wasn't my favorite part for sure. And yeah, it's just really heartbreaking following along with her. and her struggle. I can't say too much without giving anything away. And in the end, the what happens in the end, like, totally threw me off. I did not see it coming. I mean, I guess I should have, but I didn't see it coming at all. So, like, I was in complete shock with what happened in the end. And yeah, I think the title of the book really comes to play with what happens into the end, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. And so yeah, I think this is a book. It wasn't necessarily my favorite read. It's not one I'm necessarily going to be drawn to, to reread frequently. But it is one I'm going to kind of keep on my shelf and maybe revisit, a couple of years down the line, or something like that. And so it was enjoyable. It was like a solid book. So I would give it anywhere probably between like 3.5 to 4 stars. It was a solid, enjoyable read, but it's not necessarily one that I'm going to keep gravitating towards or one that I'm going to, kind of stick with me for a long time. It's definitely going to stick with me somewhat just because of Lindsay. But again, the main premise of the story wasn't really about that. It was about these cases. But yeah, I mean, the way it ended, and it starts off kind of rough too. Like Lindsay is at her darkest point when it starts off, and then it kind of backtracks and takes you through how she got to that point, and then the end of the book is kind of the aftermath, which I did appreciate. So that way you're not just kind of left with her being at her darkest. It's kind of the aftermath of where she was at. So, but yeah, just a very solid read. Definitely would say it's worth it to pick it up, and you might enjoy the crime aspect more, or you might be like me and enjoy the backstory of Lindsay and kind of that underlying storyline. But definitely a solid book. I definitely would say worth it to pick it up and give it a read. If you can, I would say get it from your library or something. Just make sure that it is one you enjoy. Because after reading it, I mean, I'm definitely going to keep it on my shelf, like I said. But after reading it, like, it's not one if I knew, had read it like from checking out from the library. It's not necessarily one I would have bought, um, but it is one I did enjoy. So if that makes sense. But anyway, I would strongly recommend you pick that up. And then remember, like I said, we're going to be starting The Morning After by Lisa Jackson, and you can find my thoughts on this next Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.